Your value and your worth is not determined by what others think of you. Hi, my name is Sierra McDowell, and today we are digging into how other people view us and how to overcome it. The fear of other people's opinion is a real problem because it literally places us into a paralyzed state. We don't want the view of others to be something that is negative about who we are. And because you have this urge to please in order to escape that rejection, you become whatever it is that they want, and you lose this identity of self. And when you start to fear these things and you become more of a people pleaser, you are losing yourself to gain approval from others. But that approval does not always last. It is something that you are constantly chasing, constantly something you are trying to uphold, but it is impossible. I'm not talking about just being like, I don't give a crap about anyone and how they view me mentality and attitude. I'm talking about those voices in your head that you listen to that are holding you back from going after something out of fear of what others are going to think of you. That is the context in which I'm going off of. I'm almost someone that would pride myself a little bit in not really caring that much about what people think of me. Until recently, I kind of snuck in again and I didn't like it. So here is what I am doing about it. And I'm going to walk you through some of the things that I do in order to work through that and to be more of an overcomer and stop being the victim but being the victor, choosing to not be a puppet for other people but understanding my value and my worth outside of what others people's opinion of me is. So now that we have established that living for other people, being a people pleaser, and having too much value in what other people think of you is paralyzing your life, now what? Now we need to move forward. All right, so here are some of the tips that I like to use in my own life in being able to work through this. One of them being is addressing the belief system that you have about yourself. What do you believe about who you are? And really being able to understand that at its core. So we all have voices in our head. We always have these things that we listen to. Maybe they were words spoken over you. Maybe they were things that you said to yourself, and we believe them. They become part of our system and how we address and view the world. It can be a little bit dangerous sometimes if we have a faulty belief system about who we are and how we view ourselves. All right, story time. I wasn't sure I was going to share this, but apparently it's happening. When I was younger, I struggled with learning disabilities, dyslexia, reading comprehensions, ADHD. I didn't know how to read until I was way too old. And I struggled with this idea that I thought that I was stupid and I was dumb. That had even been spoken over me and something that I truly believed about who I was. That kept me in a paralyzed state for far too long, to be honest. Will people have comments? Will people say things about my misspellings? Yeah, they do. But they don't bother me as much now, and they're not such a point of contention and stress in my life because I'm satisfied with who I am in that area and know deep down that I am not stupid and I am not dumb. So really learning how to change your internal beliefs of how you view yourself is so important because I was allowing myself to stay stagnant and not going after things out of fear. When you can make that shift in your belief systems, it opens up doors for you that you might not have thought were an option before. I had to replace that belief of I am stupid, that I am inadequate with I am smart and I am able. Write them down. Think about what are things that I believe about myself and are they actually true? And if you believe that they are true, and if they are not true and they are things that you just need to remove, replacing them with truth, replacing them with substance that will carry you when things are pointed out or when you start to doubt yourself so that you can be anchored in truth. Another thing that helps a lot with this, not to comparing yourself to everyone else and like seeing those other things about people and how they're overcoming these things and, you know, they're achieving these things, they have these opportunities, because then when someone has, you know, an opinion that is lesser than of you and you are comparing yourself of, yeah, if only I could be like that person. And you picture it in your head and you run with it. That one comment, that one thing that someone says, you will have a whole bunch of reasons on why that statement is true and how to back it up because you're not like so-and-so and they are a better version of you. So you really need to guard yourself in this area and that protection of yourself and not comparing yourself to others. So maybe that's putting down your phone and not looking at Instagram Instagram all the time, or unfollowing certain people that you feel like you are comparing yourself to. Also, not allowing people to be so large in your life and letting them have this grand old access to who you are. Sometimes we just give too much access to people that are unhealthy in our lives, and that should not have that spot in the first place. I'm not saying that you can't be open. I'm not saying to not be vulnerable. I'm not saying to not have close relationships. I am saying that when you give yourself too much to someone that is not going to respect you and that is not going to honor you and protect you, and you give them too much margin in your life, not to let them have as much access into your life. So sometimes it is about creating boundaries. It is about not necessarily walls, but boundaries, and being able to protect yourself, put them back into a position that they should have been in the first place. That goes into understanding where you gain your value and your worth. It is not from those people around you. It is from your creator, because he created you and because he loves you and what he has done for you in your life. That is what gives you substance as a human being. That is what gives you value, and your worth is understanding your identity. And when you have someone that is too large in your life, taking up too much space, then you have replaced what is originally supposed to be there with the wrong thing. His opinion of you is really what matters most. So when people start throwing those darts at you, it's not about throwing them back, or it's not about running and hiding and trying to always protect yourself, but coming back to being anchored in, how you view yourself and how, your father views you. And that goes into this idea of always wanting to protect ourselves and trying to fight this discomfort. It hurts when people reject us. It hurts when people don't like us. That is painful. Sometimes those things just a spot to check in and learn. Viewing it not necessarily as a personal attack on you, it might be their own issue. The world doesn't revolve around you. My dad used to say that, and it used to piss me off. He used to be like, Sierra, the world does not revolve around you. And I would be like, well, you know what? I'm 16. It does. But it's true. Like, the world does not revolve around you. So sometimes what people's opinions of you are isn't even really necessarily about you. Maybe it's something that they're struggling with in their own life. So stop taking things personally. And it's okay to be uncomfortable and to not have to fight against it, but to just sit in it and address it. See, is there any truth to that? Is there an area that I can look at in my life and, realign a little bit? Or is what they're saying complete garbage and trash and something that you just need to throw out? But if you're going to be on the defense all the time and just throw out everything or take everything to heart on the other spectrum, those are two dangerous places to be. So really being able to put things back into perspective and understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. Sometimes it's not about you, and it's okay to be uncomfortable and to be disliked. This whole idea of everyone needs to love me, everyone needs to accept me is just not true. Like, that's not the way life works. And so there will be times when people don't like you, but that does not need to define you. And their opinion of you does not need to matter all that much. If you have more tips that you use in not getting caught into this whole idea of opinions of others, I want to hear some of the tools that you use. So leave a comment down below, because I just think that they're so awesome to have and to use and to trying different things, because sometimes what works for a season isn't what works in the next, and learning to adapt and continue to progress and move forward and navigating that is not always the same.